Hi, Chris McLoone here for the Rev Fire Group Apparatus Conference and Expo. We are in week 4, day 2. This week we are highlighting the Spartan ER brands. The Spartan ER brand, and with it come a couple of other brands. For example, yesterday we saw the new NXT 110 that had a ladder tower aerial on it. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Smeal Quint and a Spartan ER S180 pumper. Couple things to clear up just before we get started. First of all, notice that none of our folks that are speaking today have face coverings. Down at Rev Fire Group headquarters, they are following all of the CDC guidelines. Also, we are coming to you remotely over the internet from Maryland, from Southeast Pennsylvania, and from Rev Fire Group headquarters. So every once in a while, we may accidentally step on each other. It's not intentional, and I think week 4, we've gotten most of those kinks out, but once in a while I will slip up. I'll take the fall for that one. Wanted to talk real quick about what we're going to see today. We're going to see 2 walk-arounds. Again, 75-foot Smeal Quint. We can't wait to dive into that rig, and also the Spartan S180 pumper. We have again with us today Ricky Riley. He is on our Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment Editorial Advisory Board, and he is also the president of Traditions Training. From Spartan ER, we have Chuck Glagola. He is a regional sales manager for Spartan ER. We have Wyatt Compton, who was with us yesterday. He is a product manager for Spartan ER. Back at the booth at the desk, we again have Alyssa McGlone, director of marketing for the Rev Fire Group. And we have Stephen Carlton back today, the director of sales for Spartan ER. Stephen, take it away. I know you always have a welcome message for us.
Thanks, Chris, and again, thank you for having us, and Ricky for being here again. We have 2 great trucks here. One of them is going to be our S180 program model that we're very thrilled with, been out for several years. And we also have the St. Louis Quint, which I really want to thank St. Louis and the fire department and chief for allowing us to showcase their beautiful unit. It's one of many in their fleet that we've built over the years, and this just happens to be the newest 75 Quint. So when Chuck gets to go over it, we'll see a lot of the new cool features that they do, and then Wyatt will help us out on the S180 model that we have that's very popular right now.
Okay, great. Before we jump into the Smeal video, just a reminder to everyone, if you do have questions, there's an Ask a Question box on your screen. Please ask often. We will get to as many of them today as we can. Immediately following this at 11 o'clock, you can go to the Rev Fire Group showroom here at the event. Any questions that we couldn't answer, you can make an appointment there to get that answered, or if you have other questions. So with that, let's run the first video, which is of the St. Louis Smeal.
Good morning, and welcome to another session of the Rev Fire Truck Expo. My name is Chuck Glagola, Regional Sales Manager for Spartan Emergency Response. Today, we're here to show you this beautiful 75-foot aerial device, which will be placed into service in the near future by St. Louis Fire Department. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Chief Jenkerson and the men and women of the St. Louis Fire Department for allowing us to utilize this beautiful piece of apparatus. Let's get started and take a view of this truck. The chassis on this unit is our Spartan Gladiator extended medium 4-door with a flat roof, which you will see with the 3-inch notch to keep the travel height in a low configuration. You'll notice on the front our extreme duty front bumper, along with the St. Louis enclosed headlight to headlight 2.5-inch discharge, which is recessed into the well, which carries 200 feet of 2.5-inch hose. As with all Spartan cabs, you'll notice on the inside we have our extreme duty interior along with our advanced protection system, which are all standard features on a Spartan cab and chassis. Next, we're going to move to the pump module. This unit features a Hale 8FG single stage 2250 GPM pump. You'll notice on the pump we're utilizing our Omni Pump Panel Control System, which takes care of all operation of valves and controllers on the unit. You'll also notice the FRC TGA 400, along with a small compartment for the driver or chauffeur to house all of his fittings, spanner wrenches, etc. that he needs while on the fire ground scene. The body on this aerial device is a formed aluminum 1/8-inch body. This is the standard body on all Smeal aerial devices. You'll notice the gray material is a gray Linex type material, which is applied on the interior of the compartments to encase durability of the interior of the compartments. Let's take a look at the back of the apparatus. Across the top, we have our 24-foot, 14-foot roof ladder, 10-foot attic ladder. In the middle, we have our patented EHL, which is our ergonomic hose loader. On this unit, it is designed to carry 600 feet of 4-inch and 250 feet of 3-inch, along with a 200-foot booster reel. On this side, we have our pike poles along with our 35-foot 3-section aerial device. You'll notice across the back we have our severe duty rear bumper, which is special to St. Louis, which we designed for the fire department. This includes 2-inch and 3/4 full bumper crosslays, which are down low, carrying 200 feet of 1 3/4 hose. On the officer side of the pump panel, you will notice, let's start from the top. This unit carries 300 gallons of water along with 30 gallons of Class B foam and a 2002 Foam Pro proportioner. Also up here, you'll notice, kind of unique to a 75-foot aerial device, but utilized by St. Louis Fire Department, is a 2000 GPM 4-inch deck gun. Let's take a look at the pump panel. As far as the officer side pump panel, we have the direct aerial inlet, 2.5-inch discharge, 4-inch LDH, along with the 3 steamers to achieve the 2250 GPM. Also on the officer side, which is again unique to St. Louis, we have the Omni Control pump panel for the pump operator if the apparatus is needed to be operated from the officer side of the truck. Now let's talk about the aerial device. Since the beginning, when Smeal started to manufacture aerial devices, we have built one style. That is heavy duty. The 75-foot unit shown here is utilizing front down jacks, which allows us to achieve a 750-pound tip load while flowing 1500 GPM unrestricted. You'll notice on the jacks, front beam, and let's take a look at the back jack. They are built in a box beam design with the inner and outer tubes, extension and up and down tubes being protected by the box beam design, which protects the up and down and in and out cylinder from the elements. Outrigger deployment is easily achieved by the PQ paddle style actuators, which are located on the left rear and right rear of the apparatus, which allow the operator to view the outrigger while being deployed for ease of operation. Let's talk about the aerial device. This is a 3-section aerial device with the main frame being constructed out of 100,000 PSI steel, which allows us to have a 750-pound tip load while operating from -6 to 72 degrees inclination while achieving a 1500 GPM flow in an unrestricted field of operation. One of the things while we're making our way down to the tip of the ladder I want to show everyone is our Smeal chromed waterway, which we have been known for many years. This is 84,000 PSI material, which is galvanized internally, chrome plated externally for longevity and durability. Also, you'll notice here as we make our way down, this is our positional waterway. The waterway changes our position of the monitor from the water tower mode to the rescue mode by a simple flip of the switch on the turntable. On the tip, you'll notice that we have our FRC 12 volt and 240 volt lighting system, our TFT monsoon ladder. We also have our nozzle controls, creeper controls, and a 110 volt outlet located. One of the things unique to the Smeal aerial design is our bolt-on egress. If damaged, easily removable and replaced by 8 bolts. As for turntable operator controls, this unit features an FRC pump boss for operation of the throttle for the waterway. This does feature our AL11 system, which includes rotation, inclination, load minder, air minder, and operation of 12 volt, 110 volt seed lighting, and the positional waterway and our retract override. That's a brief overlook of our 75-foot Smeal aerial device. Again, we'd like to thank St. Louis Fire Department for utilization of this apparatus. Please, if we can be of any other assistance, look us up at www.spartaner.com. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay, we're back. And as we go over to Ricky in just a second here, I think one of the things, Ricky, about the two trucks we're going to see today is that they're a very good comparison between a truck that is pretty highly customized in this Smeal aerial and the program truck we're going to be looking at later that I'm really excited to get into. Before we cut over to Chuck, Ricky, some of your first impressions, haven't seen the video?
Man, I am really impressed. Just the amount of thought and detail that the St. Louis Fire Department put into this truck and for their operational needs in their geographic area. And then to have the manufacturer be able to deliver all that in this beautiful compact Quint fire truck is very impressive. I'm very impressed with the truck and can't wait to ask Chuck a couple more questions on it.
Okay, let's get over to Chuck, who is ready over there. Chuck, I just wanted to talk real quick. As we just mentioned, this is a pretty customized truck. Anytime you add a lot of customization to a vehicle, it does get a little tricky engineering-wise sometimes. Could you just talk real quick about some of those challenges and how Smeal overcame them?
Well, some of the things that we were challenged with when St. Louis approached us was they had a firefighter safety in their mind. They wanted to keep the firefighters from having to egress onto the actual apparatus. So we did some things like the front bumper discharge, which we have here, which is a severe duty front bumper, which we did a headlight to headlight hose well with, which we have storage for 200 feet of 2.5-inch hose, which they use as an attack line. But the key thing with it is we were keeping the firefighter in contact with the ground at all times. We did put extra supporting in the front bumper for impacts on the front bumper. If we go to the back, we can show you what we did as far as customization on the rear of the apparatus, where we did the severe duty bumper again on the rear, again keeping the firefighter in mind that he does not have to egress onto the apparatus, and we designed this with two wells which contain 200 feet of 1 3/4 inch, which are pre-connects, again keeping the firefighter on the ground and in contact with the ground at all times.
All right, perfect. Thank you. With that, I would like to throw it over to Ricky, who I know has a number of questions for you. Hopefully we can get all of them in, or as many of them in as possible, before we cut over to the Q&A from the audience. And I can already see some streaming in. So Chuck, you're gonna be on the hot seat for a little while.
We got it.
All right, let's get to some questions on this beautiful rig, man. I'm really excited about this one. I went and looked at the specs online and everything, so I got a couple questions. And so while you're standing at the back of the rig, mechanically speaking, for mechanics and for repairability, where are the motors and the hardware for that EHL system?
Well, for the EHL, the way it's been designed in the concept was the electric motors. This is an electric over hydraulic unit, along with being chain driven. All the sensors and components are located at the front of the EHL. As you can tell on the EHL, this again was the first design that St. Louis accepted back in 1990. This EHL presently carries 600 feet of 4-inch, along with 300 feet of 3-inch in the EHL with a divider. The standard EHL on a standard design is designed to carry 1,000 feet of 5-inch in 100-foot sections of double jacketed hose.
All right, very, very impressive. So I want to talk about the jack system on the vehicle itself. What is the ground depth of the front and rear jacks in case there is an incline?
On this unit, we're using a design jack from fully nested to full stroke, or utilizing 25 inches of stroke. There is an option that we call for deep penetration jacks, which is 33 inches. So these jacks extend out to 18 feet, 25 inches of stroke. Also on this unit, on the St. Louis unit, we did place front jacks on this, which allows us to achieve a 750-pound tip load while flowing 1,500 GPM on this aerial device. The front jacks are straight down, again 25 inches of stroke. As you notice, we place our jacks directly behind the cab. This is kind of a unique feature to Smeal in our design, but one of the things that we do like with this feature, this allows us that we do not have to be concerned with when placing the cab if the aerial device is operated over the front of the truck with the chassis front wheels off the ground.
Chuck, one step ahead of me on these questions. I got to find new questions for you. That's a good thing. So, if the city is an urban area is really tight, are we able to short jack it to one side?
Yes. Yes, on all Smeal apparatus, and this apparatus is designed with short jack capabilities. If the short jack side is not fully deployed, we are allowed to rotate to 12 degrees to the short jack side. The operational side, we have full operation in range, flow, etc.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about, I got two questions about the aerial. One of those is the AL11 screen, is that a standard option?
On the Smeal device, the AL11 screen is an option. If you do choose the AL11 screen, it does take all your 12 volt, 110 volt aerial operation controls as far as the retract override, the positional waterway, 110 volt lighting, 12 volt lighting, etc., and put those into that screen. In that screen also gives us our information on aerial rotation, extension, our load minder system. Also in the AL11 there is a secondary screen which gives us our chassis vitals as far as RPM, fuel, battery, etc. But that is an option on all Smeal devices.
Okay, and I got a new question for you. When the cameraman panned up towards the aerial, there's a huge box on top of bolted to the aerial. What did they store in there, and then is that subtract from the weight that is supported by the aerial? So does it subtract from the 750 pounds?
As far as weight load, no, it does not. By the utilization of our load minder system, the load minder takes into consideration equipment which is stored on the ladder, which that box contains a chainsaw and a K12 saw. But by the utilization of our load minder system, items such as that box, pike poles, manpower, ice buildup, wind reaction are all taken into consideration by the load minder.
Okay, I think while you're standing there, I had a question about the SG09 system. I mean, what's the benefit to having that on the apparatus? And the second part of that question is, what's the average cost to add that to a fire truck to help with the emissions?
On this unit, St. Louis chose to install the SG09 on the system. This is a diesel-driven 9 kW generator, which when you pull into the scene, the unit is set up on a timer that will shut the main motor off, start the diesel-driven generator, which will then in turn run the warning light system and the air conditioning system on the chassis. This is an optional unit. The cost on this is approximately, dependent upon which model is chosen of SG09, this is a cost of approximately $40,000 to $45,000. The main thing which the SG09 is doing, it is saving wear and tear on the main motor and also cutting down the carbon footprint and emissions that the chassis is giving off.
And the options with that SG09, it's a diesel, or is there have the ability to have a hydraulic driven generator with that also?
No, the SG09 is strictly a diesel driven type system for setup.
I gotcha. Chris, I got about 50 more questions, so I know my time's getting short. Chuck, you've answered every question perfectly, and once again, I can't not express to you how impressed I am with that vehicle. That's an impressive vehicle for St. Louis.
All right, thank you, Ricky. Well, I wanted to talk just for a second. I wanted to throw it back to the desk there. One of the things, as I mentioned in the beginning, is that yesterday we got a chance to look at one of the brands that came over to the Rev Fire Group when Spartan ER joined, which was Ladder Tower. Today we are seeing another one of those brands, and that is the Smeal brand. So, Alyssa, what did you want to cover there on the Smeal brand?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, this is definitely an impressive unit. Chuck, you have touched on the tip load and the flow of the aerial. Let's tell everyone a little bit more about the aerial construction, operation, and the monitor at the tip.
On this unit, this is a 75-foot, 3-section steel ladder constructed out, the main frame is constructed out of 100,000 PSI material. As far as operation, this machine operates from -6 to 72 degrees, again with the front jacks which are placed on this unit.
Okay, we're working on some audio issues with that camera. So Ricky, it's up to you and me now. Wanted to talk to you real quick just about maintenance issues. I have attended a number of sessions that you've presented. We've talked about this on podcasts. What are some of the, as you're speccing out rigs, what are some of your tricks that you have done to help out your EVTs?
Mainly is listening to my EVTs. You know, I can do a little mechanical stuff, but you know, I'm not that mechanic guy. So for me to say that would be crazy. So I go out every time a truck pulls in to our shop. I kind of go out there, find out what's wrong with it, and then see how long it's taken them to fix it, and then exactly what their hang up was. You know, is it, you know, it could be we didn't have the part or anything like that, but mainly it's like, hey, I couldn't get to the valve, I couldn't get to the def tank, I couldn't get to the sender unit, and then, you know, writing that stuff down and then going back to my manufacturer, you know, for this particular rig, just, you know, where the def tank is, where that stuff's at, where the fuel sending units are at, all that stuff that's eventually going to go bad. Regardless of who built your fire truck, that stuff's going to go bad. And how easy it is to repair to lower the out of service time. So our department is hypersensitive to out of service time and hypersensitive to having the frontline unit in service. So that's something that we strive for every day by having parts on the shelf for our units. Like I'm sure St. Louis is going to do. I didn't ask the question, was exactly how many of these units they actually bought of this style. And then, you know, the fleet mechanics starting now to putting those parts in stock. Even looking at the mass of TFT equipment that's on there, you know, having those extra motors, you know, valves or anything on the shelf to lower the out of service time. So I'm not a big quick guy by a far stretch, but man, this fire truck has blown me away with the capabilities this thing has.
And we have just now gotten our audio back to Chuck. Let's see here. Chuck, you were about to talk to us about the Smeal brand and about the Smeal aerial. Take it away.
Okay, fine. Let's, as far as the Smeal brand, this unit is a 3-section 75-foot aerial device manufactured out of steel, 100,000 PSI material. Operating range on this is from -6 to 72 degrees operation while flowing 1,500 GPM unrestricted. On this unit, as I stated, this is a 750-pound tip load due to the front jacks. Also on this unit, we have our electric positional waterway, which is a patented item by Smeal. We also have our retract override, which is very unique to Smeal. And what that does is the fold down steps, whether there is a firefighter on the aerial device or not, when we are 2 to 3 rungs from overlapping the upper mid, the retraction will stop. The reason we do that is we are trying to eliminate any possible chance of the firefighter ever getting his toes pinched or his feet caught while the ladder is retracting if he is at the tip. Also on the tip of this, we have our 110 volt lighting, our 12 volt lighting, which is all FRC, our ladder controls, our creeper controls, a 110 volt outlet. This unit has a TFT Typhoon, which is rated at 1500 GPM, along with a 2.5-inch discharge behind the monitor on it.
What else do we want everyone to know about the Smeal ladder products?
Well, Chuck, I had a couple of questions for you. One, how many units does St. Louis currently have of the Smeal product?
On this contract that St. Louis just ordered, they ordered 8 of these 75s, one 100-foot rear mount platform, and 2 pumpers. Since 1990, St. Louis has over 70 plus Smeal units in service.
Great, and then what other models do you have available with the Smeal product line for the aerials?
Since its inception, and Smeal started building ladders back in 1964, we only build one design, and that is a heavy-duty type aerial device. We have a 55-foot 2-section, a 75-foot 3-section, a 100-foot 4-section, a 105-foot 4-section, and a 125-foot 4-section in straight ladders. Those are all rated at 1500 GPM flow. As far as platforms, we do a 85-foot mid-mount and a 100-foot mid-mount, which are both 5-section type units, along with a 85-foot rear mount and a 100-foot rear mount type unit.
Sounds great. Thank you, Chuck, for going over that with us. Chris, I'm sure we've got a lot of customer or attendee questions to get to. Let's toss it back to you and get through those.
Absolutely. We do have a number of them coming through. Chuck, I'd first like to ask you, what is the GVWR of the St. Louis Quint, including the individual axle ratings?
On this unit's running with a 23,000-pound Meritor beam front axle, which has 44 degree cramp angle. The rear axle on this unit is a Meritor rated at 33,000-pound rear axle rating with spring suspension underneath the back.
Okay, and speaking of the rear axle weight, we have another question here with that specifically, but then also, is this rig available with a 500-gallon tank, or would it be available with a 500-gallon tank?
Yeah, on this unit, this design with the EHL, dependent upon options on what we do and options that are chosen, we can do up to a 400-gallon tank without the EHL. A 500-gallon tank is optional. If we would go to a tandem axle type device, we could get up to 600 gallons of water on this 75-foot unit.
Okay, if you could start making your way back up to the front of the truck, we've got a question there, a question about the cab fascia. This is a Gladiator chassis, but the question is, explain the cab fascia. It's unique compared to other Spartans.
The chassis on this unit is a Gladiator. This is a 99-inch wide unit. This does have the 500 horse X12 Cummins motor. This was chosen by St. Louis. If I can close this real quick, this is our Evolution cab fascia, which is one of our fascias which we do have available. We have the classic style or the Evolution style. I believe also we will touch base more on that when we have our chassis section, which our chassis guys will be more than happy to jump into. But this is our Evolution cab, which St. Louis chose to go to.
Chuck, before I get to the next question, that was an excellent plug for next week's program. Way to tease the audience on that. Well done. You look like a veteran out there doing that. So the next question, can foam be discharged through the aerial waterway?
On this unit, the foam system, this has a Foam Pro 2002 on it, along with the 8FG pump, which you saw on this. As far as aerial to the waterway, this unit does not have foam to the waterway. This has foam to the actual discharges on this. I think this is kind of a unique thing for St. Louis. If we could take a second, you'll notice on the officer side of the truck, we have a very, very busy operators panel. LDH 2.5, the direct aerial inlet, along with the 3 steamers to achieve the 2250. Everything on this unit is run through the Omni system, which St. Louis chose to go to. If we can maybe take a quick minute and slide back up to show you the Omni system, which is located here, which is on the officer side, along with the FRC TPG 400 is located here. There is also an Omni system located on the pump panel itself. Kind of a unique thing to St. Louis. The driver's side of the pump panel is completely clean. There also is an Omni system located at the turntable console. So in essence, this unit can be operated from the pump operator side, from the officer side of the truck, also from the turntable. If turntable operation is chosen, this unit will become silent due to the fact by NFPA we want to make sure that the pump operator is up off the ground and on a stepping surface off the ground.
Okay, Chuck, thank you very, very much. You are now off the hook because we're going to switch over to the S180. Thank you again for joining us today, and thank you for the expanded description of the Omni. I remember it might have been 2014. I had an opportunity to head out to Smeal. It was just after the LTI products came under Smeal. It was a customer event. In fact, I saw you speak there. You were demonstrating a platform area out in a very, very cold November week. It was one of these deals where no one expected it to be that cold that soon. It was very early November. Anyway, we also got a chance to look at the Omni control system back then. It was a much different control system back then. It has been streamlined in a lot of different ways. So I mean, it's really neat to see, for me, to see that progression from where we were then to where we are now. So thank you very much again for that description. I'd like to now roll the roll the video for the S180, and then we'll come back and we'll talk to Wyatt a little bit.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Compton, Pumper Product Manager for Spartan Emergency Response. Behind me is a Spartan S180. This model is one of 8 models designed to be delivered to you in 180 days or less. Let's go take a look at all the features of this Spartan S180. This S180 is a model 2114. That means this truck has split depth compartments on both sides, has a 1,500 gallon a minute pump, it has a 750 tank, as well as a Spartan EMFD cab. Now, when we talk about a program truck like an S180, it might be really easy to think that this is a low feature, fast turnaround truck. That's not the case. With any S180, it's pre-engineered, but it's customizable. So a really good example on this truck are some features that we've added: lighted door handles, keyless entry, IFS. That IFS gives you the best suspension ride around. But then there's also things that come standard on a Spartan chassis: the advanced protection system, the low cab height, the flat floor, as well as some of the best visibility around. As we move back to the pump area, we've got a pump panel packaged in a 48-inch wide pump house. It houses a 1,500 gallon a minute pump and 3 cross slays. This 1,500 gallon a minute pump is connected to a 750 gallon water tank. That 750 gallon water tank also has an integrated 20 gallon foam cell that provides foam to a Foam Pro 1600. Now, one feature of all S180s, every S180 either has a foam system or is foam ready. So that means that if the truck does not have foam and you want to add it, the truck already has a foam cell ready, and your dealer or Spartan can add your foam system of choice. Like with all the S180s, all S180 models feature Spartan's unmatched Legend Series body construction. This is an aluminum body on a stainless steel subframe. On the S180, as standard, we have LED compartment lighting, rubberized bed liner interior finishes, as well as choices of shelving and trays. This particular model has split depth compartments left and right. But split depth compartments doesn't mean we're short on space. For a really good example here, this rollout tray in the overwheel compartment is full depth. These full depth compartments are 26 inches deep. There's a lot of storage space in this compartment. As we move back to the rear of the truck, again, we see a 46-inch wide compartment 26 inches depth. The rear of the truck features a left rear discharge. This left rear discharge is 2.5. Because we've got a 750 gallon tank, we can have the hose bed lower. We can get a bigger hose load in there to fit varying needs. This hose bed is topped off by an A-frame hose bed cover. When we open up the hose bed cover, there's grab handles for safe operation inside the hose bed for loading hose. We've got options on this truck. We can add a rear direct tank fill. That's one of our options. In addition to those options, this truck has a booster reel in the rear compartment. This booster reel holds 200 foot of 1-inch forestry hose. Ladders. This truck has an integrated ladder compartment. This compartment houses a 24-foot 2-section ladder, a 12-foot roof ladder, a 10-foot folding attic ladder, and 2 pike poles. As we move around this truck, again, we notice the large compartments. We have options available to outfit for your storage needs. While some trucks provide SCBAs just in the wheel wells, we're going to provide dual fuel fills on this truck for flexibility wherever you need to get fuel. And since we're doing that, and then we have the full depth compartments in the overwheel compartment, it gives us a spot to put SCBA storage. This truck has 8 berths for SCBA bottles. These are all rubberized coating with a SCBA bottle restraint. Because we keep these doors large and open, we've got roll-up door pulls, and you'll also notice that we've got roll-up door protectors. These protectors are here for both the equipment and for the door. As we move on to the pump compartment here, the right side pump panel, again, features a large stepping area with an integrated grab handle. We've got a right side 2.5-inch discharge and a 4-inch master discharge. Again, just like the driver's side, we've got a large area here for your large diameter hose or any other type of hose that you'd like to be stored here. We take a quick look at the panel here. This panel comes off with snap latches that gives you full access to all the valves from this side of the truck. So this is just the model 2114. Now keep in mind there's 8 options. Now 8 options for a program truck might sound like you don't have very many options, but keep in mind we have various widths and pump compartments. We have options for top controls. We also have various options for bodies. We have options for the split depth compartments as well as full depth compartments. We have options with 1,000 gallon tanks and 750 gallon tanks. So we have a wide variety to fit your needs. In addition, that 180-day time period doesn't mean that you have to take a stock truck off the lot. That S180 means that you can customize your colors. You can customize things on the truck. You can add option content to that truck. So it's not just a take it or leave it program series. This is a series that you can customize and get your truck within 180 days. Thanks for joining me today as we took a look at the Spartan S180 series. Take a look at more of our models and more of our options on SpartanER.com.
Okay, we're back after another really detailed video explanation of the rig by Wyatt Compton. Before we cut over to Wyatt, as usual, I'd like to go to my guest real quick. Ricky, what are your first impressions having now seen the video?
I'm pretty intrigued by the program. So you know, about how program trucks work and how they've taken their concept and going to put it out. So I got a couple questions for Wyatt. If we can just go ahead and can I go roll into that?
Well, how about before we jump into that, Wyatt, because that was a really good point, Ricky. Wyatt, could you provide for us an overview of the S180 product? You know, we have the one that's sitting right there in front of you or behind you, but you know there's a little bit more to the S180 product line and certain efficiencies that have been built in so that Spartan ER can achieve that 180-day turnaround. Could you just quickly give us an overview of the product itself?
Sure, Chris. You know, like you said, the 180 program is a truck that's delivered in 180 days. The truck that's behind me is a model 2114. You know, this is just one of a few models that we have available and in stock. The way the 180 program works is we let you pick your truck. We let you pick a truck that you need. So we give you options. So as you start to whittle down what trucks you want, we give you the choice of, what brand of pump do you want? Offering a waterless or a hail pump. We offer you body options. So if you need full depth compartmentation, split depth compartmentation, we have that for you. We offer you different options as far as tank size, 1,000 gallon, 750 gallon. We offer then foam availability. We have some models where foam's standard. We have some models where foam is optional. And then when we get into the chassis, you get to configure your chassis. And we're going to make everybody really happy because you get to pick your color. This isn't a base model option system. This is already a well-optioned truck, and you get to add options to your chassis. So when we look at the chassis options, you can configure your interior, you can configure your interior lighting, colors on the interior, that sort of options on your rig.
Okay, perfect. Now I will let Ricky start to hit you with his barrage of questions regarding this. But I just wanted to get that overview just for everyone, because it is it's an interesting it's a slightly different type of program vehicle than we're used to. So Ricky, why don't you take it away?
So while you assigned a number to this particular truck, so how many different models do we have in the program?
So we've assigned the model 2114 to this truck. There are 8 different models within the S180 program. Again, those models are going to be a combination of pump make and model, tank size, and body configuration.
And I noticed when I was doing some research on these products, the website is pretty robust. So are these descriptions available on the website for customers, or?
Yeah, so if you visit our website, spartaner.com, within the S180 section, we offer a nice matrix to show you the breadth of options that we provide, as well as the combinations.
Okay, a couple questions about this particular truck. While you're standing there at that door, can we get lap doors or hinge doors on these particular product lines in place of the roll-ups, or is the roll-up standard on all the models?
So on all the S180 models, the standard door is a roll-up door, and within the program, we get to we have the options to pick painted or satin finish or roll-up doors. And if you really need to have the hinge doors, we can build you this exact same truck. It just won't be within the 180-day program.
Okay, and then around to the back of the truck I was just wondering what the capacity of the hose bed was.
So as the capacity goes, I like to use a standard kind of a round number for hose bed. When we look at a hose bed with 1,000 foot of LDH 5-inch, 400 foot of 2.5, and let's say like 2 lays of 1 3/4, 200 foot, that leaves you with about 6 inches above the hose bed. That gives you with ample room to have the full load of hose and room for couplings to deploy, as well as if you have any pre-connected nozzles.
Well, while we're still standing at the back of the truck, is there an option on these models to get additional discharges or rear intakes?
We don't have a rear intake available. We can add that on any of our custom series. Again, that wouldn't be in the S180, or it wouldn't be in the 180 days. But as far as rear discharges, like on this apparatus, we have the ability to add a rear direct tank fill. And then depending on the model, we have various options for left and right, or the combination of rear discharges.
Okay, and if we can walk around towards the pump panel, I think my next question leads around over there.
Sure.
So, I mean, just due to some of the mechanical stuff that I deal with on a daily basis, where is the DEF fill and the DEF tank on this particular chassis?
Sure, Ricky. As part of the chassis, as normal on most Spartan chassis, the DEF fill is in the left rear crew door area. That keeps the DEF tank close to the engine, close to the SCR system, and friendly for fleet maintenance.
So you led me into a question that I'm going to ask. So I assume when we tilt the cab, the pump and the filter and all that is sitting right there?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Excellent. That's a good feature to have. So, Chris, I kind of ran through mine, so I know you have some from your question bank, and obviously some from the internet there.
Yes, we will roll into the Q&A from the audience. We have a number of questions coming in. Don't forget to use that Ask a Question box. Wyatt, before I cut over to the desk for a few questions, and this is good because you're right by the cab. You touched on it during your overview of the S180, but you know, we're firefighters. The first thing we're going to look at when a new rig rolls in almost all the time is going to be like, what can we change? You know, what can we do to this? And the main place that we can see the most customization on the S180 is on that cabin chassis. Could you go over with a few more details about what we can customize on the cabin chassis?
Absolutely. So within the S180 series, every model has a specific cab length, but within that cab, you can choose your flooring, your seating, you can choose your interior finishes. We have clean cab options available. You can choose, you know, door pulls, any of your safety mechanisms there. Of course, we've got the advanced protection system. We've got a world-class HVAC inside that cab. And really that's, you know, to make that yours and to give you the clean cab options that everybody's needing these days, as well as some of the medical storage that a lot of departments require.
Okay, and one more question before I throw it over to the desk. Parts availability. Sometimes that can be a challenge. Could you talk about parts availability and the S180 series?
Sure. So parts availability is one of the reasons that we're actually having some of the fleet customers come over and look at the S180s. Within all the S180s, this is a fully engineered apparatus. You know, every piece of metal that goes on this truck has a part number. Every piece on this truck has a drawing. So when you call through Spartan Parts, Spartan Parts will hook you up with all the parts that are on this rig. There's no looking, there's no measuring to see any custom parts. Every part is accounted for and engineered for this apparatus.
Okay, perfect. Now you're not off the hook yet because we still have the Q&A from the audience, but I would like to throw it back over to the desk and Alyssa and Steven to see if there are any items that they'd like you to elaborate on. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, definitely. Since Wyatt, if you want to talk about the cab a little bit more, this is a Spartan highly customizable cab and chassis. Will you tell us a little bit about the suspension options that are available on the S180 program?
Sure. Within every S180 model, we have a specific GVWR of the rig because of what the tank and the body have. But within those models, different models have spring rear suspension, but we have the availability of IFS on the apparatus. This truck in particular does have the Air-Ride IFS. That does offer you a second and unturning radius and superior ride quality.
Very good, thank you. Steven, what else do we need to know about this truck?
So Wyatt, on the S180 program, obviously you can customize some of the stuff inside the cab, and obviously graphics and paint usually become a big factor. Is paint options pretty much open, two-tone, single-tone, for all these different makes and models?
It is. So that comes into part of when you're speccing your chassis. That comes into the paint color, single-tone, two-tone, as well as that'll then drive your body color.
Okay, great. I think that's it for now. He's back going to the customers' questions.
Okay, perfect. We have a number of questions here streaming in. Don't forget, ask often, and we will get to as many of them as we can. First of all, what is the depth of the upper compartments on the split depth compartments?
So on the split depth compartment, let's go ahead and take a look at this over wheel compartment. The upper split depth compartment is 14 inches deep, and something unique to this legend style body construction that we feature on the S180, every lower compartment has a 26-inch deep section. So depending on which model you select, that gives you options for a rollout tray. We have then also SCBA and fire extinguisher storage options.
Okay, can an S180 body be in stainless steel?
The S180 body is available as aluminum. We do offer custom apparatus in the stainless steel tubular body. Of course, those aren't within the S180 program, but we can set you up with those.
Okay, can an S180 feature the SG09 system?
The SG09 doesn't have the SG09, sorry, the S180 doesn't have the SG09 system available to it, but we do have hydraulic generator options.
Okay, as the pumper sits there, what is the wheelbase and overall length of that unit? Okay, we are having a slight audio problem again. Ricky, it's up to you and me again. And what I would like to talk to you about is the standardization of fire apparatus. I know where you are now, and I believe in a past life, one of the things that you worked on very hard was getting all the rigs to be standardized for all companies. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your philosophy on that, and maybe some of the challenges that you encountered trying to accommodate that.
Yeah, standardization is really important. I believe it's just, you know, for all our firefighters, even in a small department, you could be detailed across the town or the borough, whatever, and you could have 2 or 3 fire trucks, and trying to learn each one of the idiosyncrasies of that particular truck, like what hand lines on it, what nozzles on it, is all rather confusing for the firefighter. You know, we want them focused on the job and what they're going to do out in the field. So just operationally standardizing it is one portion. Mechanically standardizing it's another portion for our EVTs and our mechanics. And then standardizing parts and pieces so you have them there. I mean, you can't have, you know, 7 different nozzles and 5 different valves and expect to have any kind of turnaround when something goes out of service. So getting those proven pieces, you know, the current department we went through 3 chassis before we decided on a specific chassis. And, you know, now our plan is to buy that chassis specifically, you know, and put different bodies on it, you know, the HDRs or an aerial, a pumper, a tanker, pumper tanker, any of those type bodies on it. So we have a standardized chassis. So all those parts and pieces, like we were talking about with the 180 program, about the DEF tank and the DEF components, are all in the same spot. They're easily accessible and ready for the mechanics. But it also makes it easy for the firefighters and the drivers. So they're, you know, when they get detailed out or they're checking multiple pieces of apparatus in a firehouse, all that stuff is kind of in the same place. They don't have to go searching for it or trying to remember where all those pieces are actually at. So, yeah, I work pretty hard on that, standardizing stuff. And then even working in a combination system, that's crucial to get the career and the volunteer systems to meet in the middle somewhere and standardize where they're going to place all these parts and pieces so firefighters have a good familiarity of where all that stuff's at.
Great, thank you. And we have Wyatt back, who hopefully has had an opportunity to phone his friend to get us those overall wheelbase questions answered.
I did, Chris. So the wheelbase on the apparatus you see behind me is 184 inches. Within the S180 program, we go down to a wheelbase as short as 176 inches. And then overall length, the apparatus behind me is 32 foot 4 inches.
Okay, perfect. And in that one S180 system or series, what are the pump options available for specification? You mentioned that you can pick your pump, but what pumps are available there?
Yeah, so the S180 program contains all trucks with 1500 GPM pumps. Those 1500 GPM pumps can be a waterless or hail pump, and we also offer a full body waterless pump.
Okay, I have a question here about the DEF, or the depth. On the S180, when filling the depth, is there protection for the batteries if the depth is overfilled?
Sure. So the S180, or on all Spartan chassis, in the fuel fill area, there is a plastic fill plate. That fill plate, any spilled DEF directs DEF fluid away from the batteries, as well as the batteries are under a cover. We have stainless steel options available for the covers over those batteries.
Okay, and kind of a more general market question for you. You see a lot of rigs roll through the South Dakota, the Brandon facility, and was wondering just about. We talked a little bit about that rear hose bed there. Do you see anyone using trays, either polypropylene trays or aluminum trays for some of those rear hose lines? It doesn't have to be just about the S180. It could be about the rigs you see coming out of Spartan regularly.
Sure. So we do have some departments that do utilize a tray. Those trays might be for hand lines that they may drop for various things like some of their hose packs for specific hose lays. Let's say that they want to have a hose lay to go to behind the house that they can drop that hose load. Of course, we work with the customers and the dealers to get what they need as far as what that storage is, how high that needs to be, how much hose that needs to be stored, as well as the proximity to pre-connected discharges.
Okay, and that brings me to my last question, which means you are one question closer to getting back to your Jeep at home, where you can hopefully drop that Hemi in that's waiting for you on your garage floor. This one is about the front bumper. So if you could work your way up there, just basically, could you go over some of the options available on the S180 with the front bumper? We see a lot of departments using the front bumpers for any number of reasons. So could you just go over those options that are available on the S180?
Sure. So on the S180s, depending on which model, we have a hose discharge as well as storage. But we allow customization within the parameters of NFPA. So on this truck, we do have a Q siren. We've got air horns. We've got sirens. We usually provide sirens for 200-watt speakers. This one you see extra lower zone warning lights, as well as the chevron striping. So we do offer options. We offer options as far as your hose storage, whether you want a hard cover, a raised cover, whether you want a cargo net, as well as this allows the department or the dealer to do some of their own work to customize the truck.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Wyatt. Again, a great day today. Great work on the video, and thank you for taking our questions. I'd like to go back to the booth and the front desk to see if Stephen or Alyssa have any parting words before we wrap up for the day.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I can't believe it. Week 4, live events in the books. Congrats to all of our Spartan ER folks. I know that they're breathing a big sigh of relief right now that they are all off the hook. Be sure to join us next week. We've got Spartan Fire Chassis in studio, so we're going to be going over a lot of the customizations once again, and the features and benefits of the Spartan chassis that is so well known and well recognized within the industry. We're going to have a Spartan Metro Star and a Gladiator chassis in studio next week, so be sure to join us for that. And then Tuesday of next week is all about REV innovations. So we're going to be talking about our proprietary access system, and we're going to be talking about a lot of those clean cab features that we've touched on a little bit. And again, once again, moving from clean cab into sterile cab, and what that means for the safety of our firefighters and the future of our firefighters as we navigate through a lot of the new viruses that we're dealing with today. So be sure to join us for that. Thank you again to all of our people here on site. We thank you, Chris and Ricky, for joining us and for giving us your insights into the industry and those questions. And we have a really great team of people behind the scenes that you never see on camera who, you know, welcome to live TV. We dealt with some sound issues today, so they've been scrambling behind the scenes. So we've got a really great cameraman and a director, producer here on site with us, and then a lot of people down the line across the internet making things work for us, switching audio and cameras. So it is no small feat to pull this off and bring this to you every week. So don't forget to go on the event platform, schedule your one-on-one meetings with all of our representatives. If you have more questions, want to get more information, if you want to find out how you can, you know, get one of these trucks to your department for a demo and see them up close, we're happy to talk through that with you. And just keep, you know, going back to that platform, and there's a lot of information on there that you can download and review after the fact. Wednesday through Friday, we're still on demand, and that is your chance to also go online and enter to win your Spartan emergency response gear. So we've got a prize pack there that you can enter to win, so don't forget to do that. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything. Chris, let me know, you know, pick up for me if I missed anything, but we appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
No problem at all. And I do believe you hit every one of the items, so I think we're good to go there. Thank you very much. Again, my thanks to Ricky and Chuck and Wyatt. Chuck, great tease. You know, they're going to be coming after you to do more of these things. You were a real veteran out there today, teasing next week's program. So, again, this has been Chris McLoone for the Rev Fire Group Apparatus Conference and Expo. We'll see you next week. Everybody stay safe and have a good one.